welcome to the Hartley Show. Our tagline here, of course, is comics and other geekery, but of course it's important to note that geekery is in the eye of the beholder. You've got car geeks, you've got sports geeks, and as you're about to find out, you have comedy geeks. And on that note, take it away, Simon King. Hey, so I'm talking to Simon King here, or at least I'm about to start talking to Simon King. I guess I'm just talking right now.
Yeah. I'm not a scientist. But right. I hope you didn't think you were getting a scientist.
So I'm talking to Simon King, comedian. Well, I guess we should actually try to talk about some actual things.
We should talk about some things.
So why don't we talk about your comedy career? How'd you get started? When did you get started? And why?
Why? Well, when you run out of options and you paint yourself into a corner, stand-up comedy will always be there. Like the lady with no standards who'll take you in at night.
No, that's how it works?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. You just eventually try everything else. I don't do stand-up comedy because I have any other discernible skills. I do stand-up comedy because I was like, what can I do where I have to get up at like maybe 4 or 5 in the afternoon? I can be drunk pretty much for 20 years. and that list gets narrowed down. CEO is right off that list. Thank you very much. I was an actor from when I was a little kid, and then I just kind of grew up on stage, and I did sketch and improv and stuff like that. But then I tried stand-up when I was 22, and I just loved it. I just fell for it. It was just, and then I did it for about 6 months. And I was pretty successful early on, but there was it kind of takes the wind out of your sails when you start doing it for money and stuff, working too early. And you lose the joy. And so I took about 2 years off, 2.5 years off. And then in about 2002, I started full time, and I haven't done anything else since. I've just done this the whole time. So I really, really love it. I love stand-up. I love being a comic. It's the most freeing art form that I've found. So I love it.
You're getting all serious.
Yeah, I know.
Jeez.
I'm so proud of my.
So you started as a kid actor.
I started off as a kid actor.
So there's like a world of embarrassing footage out there somewhere.
Somewhere there's stuff. Yeah, it was mostly stage acting, but there are some shaky videos of people going, I hope he doesn't want to do this forever. His brother's really smart, and we're hoping he'd be a doctor. Since I started doing comedy, comedy's become more genre specific than ever before. So now, like, it used to be, like, nobody just goes and sees music, right? They go and see hip-hop or rock or whatever they go and see. Yeah. But with stand-up, people would just go to stand-up. So they didn't really know, but now, since I started particularly, things have, it happened early with the alternative comedy boom, but things have started to change now where people will go and see certain types of comedy. So, like, you'll have a Doug Stanhope fan. I don't know if you know Doug Stanhope, but he's very edgy. He's a very edgy, very punk rock style comic. Or you'll have, like, Dane Cook fans, or you'll have, like, Russell Peters fans. And they are learning, audiences are learning what they want and what they go to. So it allows people like me to be much more specific to what I do. So now, and an attempt when I'm doing this new special particularly, is to really engage the audience out there that might be interested in the kind of stuff I do, which is social, political commentary, sort of like that kind of edgy, darker comedy. And so that now, because right now when you go to a comedy club, the people that come to a comedy club don't know what they're getting most of the time. Unless you're a famous person, they don't know what you're getting, right. You know. So, because they'll just come and see comedy and they'll be like, oh, comedy, that's great. We'll have a few drinks. And then they'll get me going, the government screwed up and they're stealing your lives. And I was like, we just came for drinks. It's Nancy Stagad and we were going to have a good time. And he's so angry. I sometimes believe there should be someone who comes around after my sets and just hugs people and go, he's not mad at you. He's not mad at you.
Well, not all your stuff's angry. Like, the Star Wars thing is just a pure love of fandom.
Yeah. There's a silliness there that I do. Like, I just definitely, like, I have a wacky side. I really do. I've always had a goofy side. And when I started out, I was much more goofy than I am now, partly because I was younger, and partly because that was how developed my humor was. But as you age, I think you start to... But I never lost track of that stuff. I mean, I still do that, like... I will still put weird impressions and weird voices and noises. Like, I love to make noises. It's one of my favorite things in the world.
Hello, friend. Are you worried about the red scourge of communism? Being able to protect yourself and your family from dangerous ethnic minorities and socialists? Well, you should try the Jackripper. Yes, the Jackripper, guaranteed to improve your upper body mass and give you a barrel-chested physique like the most powerful man in the world, the President of the United States of America. And now look. You're more powerful than you've ever been before. Trips to the beach will be fantastic. You can make any sandcastle you'd like without trouble from dangerous bullies with mustaches. Yes, the Jackripper, the most powerful home exercise equipment you can legally buy. Yes, the Jackripper. If you'd like to be Rip Jack, Jack Jack the Ripper, not sponsored by Jack the Ripper because he was a dangerous serial killer, try the Jackripper. You'll become more powerful than you could ever imagine. Also, eat these pills. The Jackripper.
I smell toast.
One of my favorite things is to do an impression of a 12-year-old Chinese girl learning to play violin, playing one of your favorite songs. So if you pick a song like, I don't know, like Welcome to the Jungle, it's like... You work harder, you don't play good!
Wow.
So like it's all stupid stuff like that. So, but I like that kind of humor still. But I also found that there was something I really wanted to say, and so I'm kind of trying to. This particular special that I'm recording on the 12th is kind of like it's kind of like that ground of me going as far as I want to go with some stuff, so I can find the comfortable place to rectify it all together. So it's going to be interesting to see what the evolution is. But this is the next logical step for me, and it's kind of fun because I do 300 to 400 shows a year every year.
Wow.
Like I work a lot, and so
300 to 400 shows
yeah,
a year.
yeah.
A
So-
lot of that's 2 shows in a day.
2 shows a night, yeah, 3 shows a night. Sometimes it'll be 3, 4 shows a night.
Wow.
And as you get a little further along, you work a little less because you're able to work less to keep. But you go through periods of time where you work a phenomenal amount. So when this is recorded, I'll start working on the next hour, and that will be ready within the year. And that
by
will
this, you're talking about your special on
October 12th.
October 12th.
Yeah, I'm doing 2 shows at the Rickshaw Theater in Vancouver. And we chose the Rickshaw because it's Richard's opening for me, and we chose the Rickshaw because it's a very punk venue, and it fits really with what I'm doing. I don't want it... When you film a special, you have to have a bigger room because you've got cameras and everything else, and then you have to have a few people in there. And we want to film this... this is being filmed for, broadcast audience. So it has to have a certain...
Broadcast audience, is it Netflix? Is that the idea?
Netflix is hopefully the idea, but I mean, it might end up elsewhere. Like right now, we're kind of looking at where we want it to land. Right. I'm very particular about not editing it very much. Like obviously editing it for the look and everything, but content-wise, I don't really want to fiddle with it. So that does narrow the market a little bit. But as I said, nowadays, people are getting more on board with stand-up. Like Netflix is a great example. Before, like now you make a special, you can release it completely uncut on Netflix, 1 hour, 1 hour 15, however long it needs to be, it doesn't matter. Because the people that buy it, they're not beholden to sponsors or anything else. They're
Beholden.
subscribers. Yeah, there you go. William Beholden. He dated Audrey Hepburn. Anyway, and then he fell down and broke his head.
No, I've heard that one of your goals is to try and make it in Canada rather than having to go down to the States, as most people do. And if you wouldn't mind just sort of explaining that whole sort of weird predicament that Canadian actors and comedians go through.
Well, there's a lot of reasons why, not the least of which is population-based. I mean, we have 1/10 of the population of America. Yeah. And in and of that, there's the demographics. So you got to think of people that would watch something that I produce would be between 18 and 40 usually, 1845, and in that age group, that narrows your numbers. Then you have to narrow numbers to people that are going to be on side and people that understand stand-up or want stand-up. So now we're going from 32 million people in the country down to probably about 3 million people that the market is available to, really. Whereas in the States, if you go from 320 million down to 32 million, it's more than people in the country. And also in Canada, there's this weird kind of we're very into the humility of being Canadian, and we're not really good at promoting our own people. So it's like if you go elsewhere and you get successful elsewhere, then they're all on board with telling you, oh yeah, we liked you the whole time. But the analogy I use is like, if you ask a Canadian who their favorite band is, they'll be like, oh, I really like Radiohead. They're pretty good. If you ask an American, they go, Radiohead's the best. What's wrong with you? So it's like that's the difference of how they promote themselves in the States. So if you get success in America, and to a lesser extent in the UK, it translates to success in Canada. And that's an unfortunate thing, but that's just because so much of our media and so much of our influence comes from there. I mean, I like that we have Canadian content laws, and I like that we protect our Canadian entertainment, but realistically, I mean, it's very hard to get something on television in Canada. Because there simply isn't enough money and there aren't enough options. Yeah. So for what I wanted to do is, I want this special has to be accessible to the American market because that's necessary to grow. I get that. But I thought, I could film this in the States, which I was going to do. But then I thought, well, why don't I film it? It doesn't matter where I film it because the material itself is not country specific. So why don't I just film it where I'm comfortable and where I'm happy and kind of, because there've been very few specials filmed in Vancouver that have gone on to do anything. So I thought, well, why not film a special in Vancouver and then see if I can make that like accessible to an American market. And then maybe it has the after effect of helping the Vancouver profile a little bit, but it also allows me to do it in a place I'm comfortable and kind of come out of nowhere, you know? So you have that element of surprise. That's kind of one of the reasons I wanted to do it here, and I think that Vancouver scene is so good. I've been a big proponent of the scene here since I started. I mean, it is home to me, but it's also, I've traveled a lot and I've seen a lot of comedy, and I really think we have world-class comedians. And that even extends to the newer comics coming up. They advance so quickly and they get so good. So
Guys like this guy, right?
guys like this guy, Boom. Good old Boom. Here comes the Boom. Look at him. He just looks grumpy. No, I think that's good. I just want people to come out and if they want to follow me on Twitter @unfamous, they can do that, and then I'll probably do some ticket giveaways before the thing too. But otherwise, you can go to live@rickshaw.com, pick up some tickets. October 12th. 8 p.m. 10:30. Come and support a local. Yeah, $5, 8 at the door. Come support a local. I'm gonna yell at people. I'm gonna yell at people for an hour. Maybe this will be the show I have a stroke finally. You could be there for when I'm halfway through yelling. And I go, and then click, and then just someone turns me off like Commander Data with that switch on the side. Just
and it's $5 per show, or will $5 get you both shows?
No, $5 per show. But I'm sure if you came to the early show and if you really desperately wanted to see Late Show, we could figure something out. So
Gotcha.
And there's lots of booze there, and it's cheap, and you'll get yelled at, and it'll be fun. So if you can put up with me for 2 shows, yeah, come to the early one and then stick around. A buddy said to me, he's like, should I do mushrooms before the early show or the late show? I was like, well, do mushrooms between, because then you want to catch one sober and one screwed up. He's like, good plan. I'm like, you'll be sitting in the balcony.
Well, Simon, thanks a lot for doing this today, and of course, don't forget to see Simon of the Rickshaw this Saturday, October the 12th, and of course, we'll be there as well. Thanks for watching.